Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Second Chances. This week, talking about evolution.
Boy, are we.
Yeah. Dave, what sort of pun would you like to make quickly before we go into the title sequence about evolution?
I don't know.
I would have accepted. So you say you want an evolution?
Oh, that was pretty good.
So, today, we are giving a second chance to Evolution.
Yes.
From 2001, Ivan Reitman directed, David Duchovny, Julianne Moore, Stifler, who at that point, to be fair, at that point he was still Stifler.
Yeah,
He has since become Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
Right.
But he was still Stifler back then. Orlando Jones, also
Who
in
was,
it.
well, I mean, this is, right now you're already sort of entering into some of the problems.
Okay, well, we'll get there. Hang on. So, to start with, Anna, why are we giving this movie a second chance?
Okay, so the movie does happen to be awesome and amazing.
That's not what I asked.
But the reason that it needs a second chance is because some people don't necessarily see it as amazing as it is. Now, one of those reasons might be because of the cast. You know, as you said, it starred Funny Mulder, a redhead that wasn't Scully. It starred Stifler. It starred that 7-Up guy. So you have this very strange cast of people, many of which were not really terribly appealing to people. I think the one that was probably most appealing was Mulder there, David Duchovny, but I think people want David Duchovny as Mulder.
I don't agree with that.
I think some people also don't like fun.
Okay.
Some people don't like fun. Okay. I will say that the DVD copy, the back of the DVD, the pull quote,
Yes.
in all caps, big bold font, all it said was fun.
And it's right.
I don't even believe it had an exclamation point. So look, the movie cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $80 million. Only made like $40-something million, so it was a flop. Right?
yeah.
Box office wise, it was a flop. But again, what was it that's so fun about this movie that merits a second chance?
You know, what I like about this movie is it's sort of, there's this kind of fun subgenre of sci-fi movies that are just kind of cute and silly. You know, it kind of reminds me of like how really one of my favorite Star Trek movies is Star Trek Save the Whales.
Right.
You know, Star Trek Voyage Home, because it's just cute and fun, and it's like the comedy version of like usually what they do.
Yeah.
And they are still saving the world, which is like evolution. But ultimately, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it just feels like a fun Saturday movie to put on. But I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's an interesting take on an alien invasion movie, where it's not like some big saucers in the sky and some mastermind trying to take us over. It's just these organisms from a meteorite that are evolving at a rapid rate, and they have to use, you know, science in order to stop it. I think that's pretty cool.
So what you're saying is this movie is worth a second look because it's a different sort of alien invasion movie that's also funny?
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of tried and true sort of like invasion movies that we get, and it is really unique. And I like all the little monsters, and even like down to like the big Resident Evil coiled monster at the end, which I thought was really cool.
Here's my. And I was sitting here watching this movie, and I was like, you saw me do it too. I was just getting angry at this movie.
He was white-knuckling through it.
Normally, I'm pretty forgiving with movies, and like, yeah, it's a good time, whatever. Like, it doesn't need to be the biggest, best, but like, this movie, there is absolutely nothing worth going back to for this movie.
Oh, come on.
Absolutely nothing. What it tries to do, Ghostbusters did better. As far as the aliens and the creatures and all that stuff is concerned, Men in Black did it much better. None of the plot made sense. None of it made sense.
I think it made sense.
It doesn't actually make sense, but they force logic into it in the most shoehorned, contrived possible way.
Specific example is the presence of the army. Like, they're in there, they're shutting everything down, they got it all locked down, right? And somehow any action that takes place, including like the catching the pterodactyl thing in the mall, like, it's just 3 dudes who stole shotguns. The army's not there doing anything like that. And then they show up, none of it makes sense.
No.
It is madness.
You're wrong, though. The thing is that the army is there, but they don't actually know the geological systems. You know, for some reason, Orlando Jones does.
Yeah, look, I mean, I know Orlando Jones' character is like a geologist or whatever, and he knows some history of the area. And it's just, my biggest problem with it is, and this was a knock on the movie at the time, because it was Ivan Reitman, and the comparison is super easy to make between this and Ghostbusters. But it was just the dynamic of the group was such a knockoff of Ghostbusters, and by the humor, totally worthless. Like, there's a whole big build-up to like they're gonna they're gonna give him a shampoo enema, and it's like,
Okay.
what?
Okay, I will agree.
Like that's what you trotted out
okay.
Dan Aykroyd for?
That was a
come
valid
on.
response to that.
I
yeah.
will agree
Terrible.
that there are jokes that do not land in this movie. I totally agree with that, and some of them made me go a little bit. But even like you know, in Ghostbusters, the environmental people, it's the same thing. It's like these shitheads in power that don't actually control anything. It's an ego trip.
It's not. No,
That's
no,
the
it's
same
not.
thing.
It's not the
no,
same
because
thing.
it was all so much focus on Ira. The whole reason they even knew to go there is because they were spying on Ira because he was one of their best scientists ever. I also find it really funny the reason he's not their scientist anymore is because he made a vaccine that made everyone sick, and I thought that was really interesting.
And the list of symptoms that he gave was like, it was
No,
just
that was
so.
I
it's
thought
like,
that was
yeah,
such a
no,
funny
I was like,
scene
all right,
and
let me
done
just
so
list
well.
diarrhea and boner problems, and like it was so stupid.
But it was
like,
funny. That's
and
the
I
reason
like.
the guy wanted to shoot him on the military base. Like that was funny.
Did they have a boner while they were?
Oh, I hope so.
Because that'd be hilarious.
Look, that changes everything.
Oh man.
I just
I've had enough of you guys and your boner shit humor.
look.
Okay?
I like a good boner joke as much as the next guy. I really do. It's not that I'm too highbrow to like boner jokes. It's like these weren't good boner jokes, and like it's not funny enough. It's not original enough. It's not like fun enough to sit in front of to bother going back to watch it again. That's all I'm saying.
I think there's a
this
lot
does
of-
not deserve a second chance.
I think
We were
there's a lot
right
of original
to
stuff.
kick it out of
Okay.
theaters 15 years ago.
I know there's a Ghostbuster template going on here with the characters and stuff, but I think it's still like a really original alien invasion movie. I don't think there was anything quite like this
yeah.
before. I think that the fact that they're all scientists is really interesting. I think that the fact they're community college guys is even funnier. I know that it's a really stupid way that they dealt with the aliens at the end, but these aliens, at least it was better than like Signs, where like aliens invaded a planet.
We're not
That's
talking
70
about
doesn't matter.
signs,
No,
though.
but I'm
Doesn't
talking
matter.
about the fact that like
I love it. Every good thing you guys have to say about the movie is like, look, I know it's not good, but
No,
Like-
I didn't say.
No, but the point is that there's sort of a different mood that you needed for different movies. Like, okay, it is not as good as Ghostbusters. It's not as good as Galaxy Quest. I'm never going to say that it's as nearly as good as those. The thing is, better movies, I generally like to space out a little more. Yeah. This movie, for some reason, I could watch this movie every day and be entertained by it. I don't know why.
I think it's the likability.
I can't understand why.
I think the entire cast is super likable,
Yeah.
and I find most of the characters super likable. I think the relationship between Orlando Jones and David Duchovny is really funny. I think Sean William Scott's doing his own little side thing here, but for me, he's more digestible in this movie than a lot of other ones where I really don't
still not
like him.
digestible.
But even
William
Sean William Scott, his whole arc of like I want to be a firefighter
Yeah.
or whatever, that was just there specifically. I guarantee you they reverse engineered that when they're like, how are we going to shove shampoo up this alien's ass? How about a fire truck? All right, let's give the guy he wants to be a fireman. Like it's got there's nothing about him like wanting to be more than who he is or anything. It's just like I want to be a fireman.
Yeah.
For me, that's the way they all are.
You know
But
what?
it
Kudos
did
to
lead to the
them.
shampoo enema, didn't it?
Well, that's yeah.
yeah,
know.
exactly.
There you
And that's
go.
Ernest Scared Stupid did it better than this.
Look, the point, and I don't want to get derailed into like, well, I'm not going to say that it's good, but I want to like the point of this show is to like recommend should we or should we not give this movie a second chance.
Yeah.
And I just don't. There's nothing in this movie that's worth going back and looking at again.
I mean, I appreciate that. I get that you don't like it. I understand, it's not as good as Ghostbusters, but I think there is a place for this movie. I think that it has some ideas that we haven't seen a lot. I think that the characters are quirky and interesting, and once again, it's fun. Maybe that's like not enough, but for me it is. I've watched this movie over and over again when there's a lot of movies that are critically acclaimed I've watched like once, and I'm like, I don't need to do that ever again.
Can you seriously recommend it for someone to sit down and actively watch it, though?
Yeah, I can.
Because to me, it seems like the kind of movie, it's so light that it doesn't require any attention. So it's like something you just put on the background while you're vacuuming or...
Well, you're
or
doing something loud and you won't have to hear
yeah,
it.
and you don't have to hear it. You can just look at it and see all the weird stuff, and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Jackhammering my living room.
Exactly, yeah. But really, can you imagine someone just saying, I'm going to watch this, sit down, and just the whole time?
I just
don't think
can't
it
think
Yeah,
needs
man,
it.
I've done
I
it.
just
Doesn't
can't think
need
of a
it.
reason why I would say, oh, you know what movie's great and you should watch again right now? Evolution.
Admittedly, I'm not going to say to people, like, go work really hard to go find a copy of this movie, okay? Like, I'm not. I can't tell people to
This was your pick.
I know.
How am I the one super
You're just telling everybody.
But the thing is, like, I think that it is a super fun movie. I just really enjoy it. And
All right. Well, look, I feel like this could have been an hour-long episode pretty easily, but I feel like we made it pretty clear where we stand on this.
give it a second chance. Like I said, don't make an effort to, like, a real
Look, don't try.
The fact that you're adding a qualifier to
That's
it.
just-
Anna,
to me,
you are the
throwing it out.
worst
I know.
supporter of anything ever.
I mean,
Dave, you're giving it a pretty.
Yes, it's
It makes me
fun.
happy.
It's different. It's cool. It's hilarious. You'll recognize everyone in the cast. It's worthwhile.
You'll recognize the people who are in it.
It's fun.
Look, it's not fun.
It is.
It's not different.
It's totally different.
It does the same things that other movies did better. Don't worry about ever watching it again. All right, everybody, that's Evolution. I'm really mad about it. Guys, what do you think? Get down in the comment section. Let us know if it's terrible or awesome. There's no third option. Let us know what you think about Evolution down in the comments. When was the last time you saw it? What's your favorite sci-fi comedy that's out there? Because I promise you, there are better ones out there than Evolution. Make sure to click like and subscribe. Stick around CineFix for more second chances and more of all of the rest of our shows. See you next time. Bye.